Hi everyone, Brooke here with Burnley and Trowbridge. Welcome to our Underpetticoat Hack. In this video, we'll be instructing you on how to hack our petticoat sew along so that you can go from this to this. Underpetticoats were a common garment that was worn over the shift and usually under the stays and pocket to add layers of warmth or fullness to your entire outfit. While many of the surviving underpetticoats have embroidered borders to them, probably most of them in the 18th century were just plain linen or wool fabric. This video is meant to be a companion to our petticoat sew along, so most of the construction is similar and we'll simply highlight the differences. For your underpetticoat, you're going to need 2.5 yards of linen, plain or corded linen like a dimity. That would also work. You can use a linsey woolsey or a wool flannel, depending on what weight you want your underpetticoat to be. You're also going to need enough linen or cotton tape to go around your waist once and tie. So this is half the amount of what you needed for the underpetticoat. And you'll need all the usual items to help put this together. Unlike a petticoat, which usually has 2 or 3 or 4 seams going down the length of the petticoat, most underpetticoats, at least surviving ones from the 18th century and ones written about, seem to go with the selvage along the hem and at the waist. And so I'm going to cut my underpetticoat out that way. Most linens today are woven 58 or 60 inches wide. So you can possibly get 2 underpetticoats out of the 2.5 yards of linen, or you'll just get 1 and have a little fabric left over to use for something else. So you need to find your measurement from waist to mid-calf and cut that out in the fabric. My measurement is 27 inches. So now we're ready to measure our waist to mid-calf on the fabric from the selvage edge inwards, and it would be really helpful if I had my tape measure, which is... Christina, did you take my tape measure?
No.
I don't believe that. You secretly love tape measures.
Ew.
Thank you. All right. Now let's cut this out. I am not pulling a thread for 2.5 yards. When cutting 2.5 yards, even if it seems like a lot, it's probably best to pull a thread, because as you can see, it didn't work so well for me, just cutting into it. Lesson learned, I'll pull a thread next time. The order that you put the underpetticoat together can be exactly as we did our petticoat. I'm going to show a different order here because there's only 1 seam to seam up the back, and I find it easier to pleat the waist of the underpetticoat before I do the back seam. Many underpetticoats were embroidered around the bottom, and so you could embroider yours first, then line the embroidered section and bind the hem with a linen or wool tape. You could fold up the hem and hem it as normal. Or if you happen to have a really good finished selvage edge, you can just leave it unhemmed with the selvage at the bottom. To start with, we're going to hem the bottom of the petticoat first. After you finish the hem at the bottom of the underpetticoat, we're ready to hem the short sections that are going to be the opening slit in the back of the underpetticoat. So we want to measure down the same distance that you usually find on petticoat, about 9 or 10 inches. Mark that and hem both sides. After you have your slit hemmed, we need to determine where you want it to be on the underpetticoat. Many surviving underpetticoats have the slit in the very back. So then you're going to want to fold your fabric so in half and mark this as the center. Some, though, have the slit on the side, and so it could be used to get into a pocket, and sometimes there's a matching opening on the other side that's just been cut in. That's up to you whether you want to do it that way. But if you're going to have the slit on the side, you're going to need to then mark what's going to be your center front and work from there. I'm going to have my slit to the back, so this is going to be my front. You can quarter this just like you would do with a regular petticoat, and you'll be working with your box pleat and then your knife pleats starting in the center and working towards the slit. Since there's only one slit on this petticoat, you're only going to need one length of tape that ties around your waist once. Once you have your tape marked, you are ready to start pleating the under petticoat to fit. After you've pleated the under petticoat to fit the tape, a box pleat in the center with knife pleats going around towards the slit, then you'll be ready to bind the waist with a tape. Now that you've finished pleating the waistband and binding it, and I hope you found that easier to do without any of the seams done, it's now time to do the seam. Now you can do several different types of seams here. You can do a man-to-a-maker seam, but for this kind of garment, I find that a felled seam works best. So you want to backstitch and then fell down the raw edge. So now that we've finished our under petticoat, let's try it on and see how it fits. Thank you for joining us for this under petticoat hack. We hope that if you've enjoyed it, you'll like this video, leave us some comments, and subscribe to the channel. You can also follow us on Facebook and Instagram. So until next time, happy sewing!